Welcome back to Final Fantasy IX. We're going through the Fossil Roost still. Thankfully, we're getting out in this part, so yay. I think we found every random encounter in this area, so it's just going through.
This is kind of the point where the party logic of having one avatar character out on the field and everyone else just sort of hidden away sort of falls flat on its face, because only Zidane could possibly be riding the Gargan all over the place. So he's keeping Vivi in his back pocket, Garnet down his shirt, I guess, and Kina is...
Kina's in his hair.
Kina's trying to eat it.
Kina's in his hair. He just pops out and eats like random bugs that are on the...
No, Kina mistook his hair for spaghetti.
Oh, damn it.
So, yeah.
But would you rather have them all riding the Gargan, like dangling off of Zidane's tail?
Well, here's the thing that's slightly confusing me. Final Fantasy VIII moved away from having your party members walk inside you and hide themselves away. Your party members would follow you around on the field in Final Fantasy VIII. But they didn't do that in Final Fantasy IX or X.
I think it's just for the most part, it's just something that people don't really care. It's a detail that most people don't really care about. Like the only other, to be honest, the only other games that I can think of that have the party follow you around are Dragon Quest, where that happens in every Dragon Quest game, and Paper Mario, where you only have one partner out at a time, and they just straight up live in your back pocket when you're not using them. So
Lufia.
Lufia?
Lufia.
Well,
Lufia
from what I can tell, Lufia is a pretty standard Dragon Quest clone. So.
Well, yeah. But I'm saying the character.
Oh, I think Earthbound does that too. So yeah, basically anything.
Follow you.
Yeah, basically anything that's trying to be more Dragon Quest than Final Fantasy will do it, but other than that, people don't really care.
The Persona games do that too. Actually, now that I think about it, the thing about Final Fantasy X and 12 in particular, though, that when they keep your party members hidden away, it's because in 10 and 12 your party is everyone at once. And you just switch people out as you need to in battle. But the other thing is, in Final Fantasy XII, your party members, when you were in a battle dungeon, were always visible, because the battles took place out in the field, obviously.
Real time.
They just hid themselves away when you were in villages, when you were in towns and villages, which pissed me off, because that meant I always had to play as Vaughn in town, and he's the character I don't want to talk to people as. I'd rather be Ash or Balthier, someone with social skills.
All the other party members are wanted in every town.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that were true of half of them, actually.
So what, we'd get a wanted sign of Vaughn that has a stupid-ass face?
Yeah, it's like Lloyd tells us about it.
No, it's like, now that I think about it, the party members in Final Fantasy XII, the only ones who definitely wouldn't have, like, a bounty on their head were probably Vaughn and Penelope. Because you have, like, Bosch, von Ronsenberg, who was accused of killing the king. You have Princess Ash, who's, the princess, and the Empire wants her dead, or captured.
Captain Bosch! Shut up.
Then you have Bosch and his partner, who are sky pirates. So, like, the only normal people in the party are the ones that don't matter. Vaughn and Penelope. They're just these kids who happen to get involved.
But they're the saviors of the world.
No, they're just those kids who happen to be involved. You're probably not even using them.
In every, from what I haven't played it, but from what I heard of everybody who's played Final Fantasy XII, Vaughn and Penelope would be optional party members in any other RPG.
Well, yeah, this is basically what Vaughn and Penelope are. Vaughn is the kid you start out as. His brother dies at the beginning of the game, and that's his entire plot significance. He's just your avatar character. He's like Tidus, except without any flimsy story justification for being there at all. Penelope is there because she's Vaughn's friend / girlfriend. Like, she marries him at the end of the game. But her entire... Like, she's well written, and she has a good voice actor. Like, I'm not saying I don't like Penelope as a character, but her entire reason for being there is basically that anime trope where the anime protagonist has a feisty female friend who he eventually hooks up with. Actually, now that I think about it, Vaughn and Penelope are really, really anime compared to everyone else in the game. It's almost as if they were shoehorned in to keep the Japanese audience interested.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Even if 12 by default is already a Japanese developed game?
Yeah, but it doesn't look as traditionally JRPG as your other Final Fantasy games. Is also.
I disagree. I think it has plenty of that.
Well, it has traditional fantasy, but it doesn't have as powerful the anime elements, Japanese tropes, and whatnot. It's a lot more in terms of story. It's political. Strange as that is to say about Final Fantasy, and that turns some people off. The plot is largely a political conflict between Dalmasca, the Arcadian Empire, and factions within the Arcadian Empire. It's strange.
It's like one giant Star Wars parallel.
Yeah, essentially, kind of. I haven't played it to the end. I mean to, but I'm looking for a chance to play the international version, and for that I either need a better computer with a better emulator or a modded PS2.
Which one's more expensive at this point?
Well,
probably probably not the PS2.
Well, you can get a PS2 for like $50, so you could inhabit
50? What the hell are you looking at?
Yeah, but it needs to be modded because I need to be able to play a burned CD.
Yeah, well,
a Japanese burned CD.
Well, how much could it really cost to send a PS2 to someone to get it modded for you, though?
That's a good question. I've been meaning to look into that, but I have no money either way, so...
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I need to wait. I'm holding off until I'm done Final Fantasy XIV. Like, I'm not going to have time to play through all of Final Fantasy XII and XIV at the same time. They're both just too huge. Final Fantasy XII... Okay, this is how much... stuff there is to do in Final Fantasy XII. I spent like 8 hours as just Vaughn before I recruited any of my party members, just doing hunts at the very beginning of the game. And you might ask, why would you do that? Why not wait until you have party members? Well, it turns out that the easiest way to grind up your party members early game in Final Fantasy XII is to do your grinding before you get them, because they all build up license points and experience points in the background, whereas once they're in the party, you have to have them in your active battle party to get them to level up. It's just fucking stupid.
Did you know that when you were doing it, or...
Yes.
God, I hope that was water.
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I did basically every side quest hunt that I could do before I got the other party members. And there are a surprising number of them that you can do before you get your other party members.
There's that completionist attitude.
Yeah. Well, it's also really, really challenging and actually kind of fun to do those hunts solo.
You say hunts solo or Han Solo?
Hunts. But sure, why not? I'll pretend I meant that pun.
Oh, we're close to the exit finally.
This is a long dungeon.
Well, it's longer if you want to go for everything. There's treasure to be found.
Well, if you're doing a dungeon, you want to get the treasure, like...
Yeah, this is the point in the game where Final Fantasy IX's exploration elements, including the dungeon elements, really start to come into their own. I mean, after this point, you do have dungeons that are around this scale, I think. There's Olivert, there's... I don't know if Kuja's headquarters counts as a dungeon. I don't really remember. And then there's Memoria, the final dungeon, is particularly memorable. Memorable. I didn't even mean to do that.
You're on fire today, Lewis. So there's the point in the game where Zidane hits the right spot and the entire cavern just collapses.
Well, this part of the cavern, anyway.
Hi-ho. Hi-ho. It's off to the dungeon we go. No.
It's not hi-ho, it's hee-ho.
Hee-ho. Kupo.
Yeah, because there are
Kupo.
there are dwarves in this game.
Oh yeah.
We'll be getting to them.
Oh yeah, they always change whatever the hell the dwarves say every game. Like
Rally ho.
Rally ho. Yeah.
It's Final Fantasy IV is Lally Ho.
Yeah, they keep on changing it.
Yeah.
In Metal Gear it's Lally Lule Lo.
It's funny. A lot of people, nobody really associates elves and dwarves with Final Fantasy, but the original Final Fantasy did have both of them, and and dwarves made their return in later games. Not so much.
Was there a town of elves in the first one, or was it just one elf that you had to wake up?
I'm not sure.
Because I know, like, the prince.
Oh wait, there's also elves in Final Fantasy IV. Now that I think about it,
there were.
Yeah, because the dark elf prince makes his return in that game.
Oh yeah, that I haven't played. Final
there's
Fantasy
a dark
IV
elf.
in a
What about? I'll just talk about straight up elves, like an elven civilization.
Yeah, because I know that the dwarves all lived underground in Final Fantasy IV, so I remember them. But
well, Final Fantasy I didn't exactly go to great lengths to flesh out its civilizations. Back then, towns were like 2 huts and a shop. And a church, because you needed some place to resurrect your
No, it's not a church, it's a temple. It's totally not anything to do with Jesus at all.
A clinic god.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you know what? In the PS2 remake of Phantasy Star 1, they turned all the churches into hospitals.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, on the one hand, that sort of pissed me off because, you know, unnecessary censorship. But on the other hand, it makes more sense for them to be hospitals in that setting than churches. You know? So I'm torn.
I don't need faith, I need morphine.
Oh, hi, it's another town that we won't be able to get back to in Discord. Hello, Tree Root.
How you doing?
You know, because it's right next to a mountain, you can't really tell the difference between the tree root and the mountain. But yeah, it's a tree root that we just walked past.
So that entire area that we traveled under was pretty much underneath the ocean bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. That Gargan must have carried us pretty far, and we hung onto its back upside down the entire way.
We got massive arm cramps.
So if you basically can't get back to the Mist Continent for a while if you want to go back and do anything there.
Not going back to the Mist Continent until we get an airship, I think.
You know what I love about these cruise marshes? There's one on every continent. They have different layouts and different frog breeds and everything. But those 2 Moogles are always there.
Oh yeah, you said there was something about a mini game you can get Kina to do with eating the frogs.
Basically, there are a bunch of cruise marshes around the place, and you don't really want to grind this up intentionally until you have the airship, but you can go from cruise marshes to cruise marsh, eating frogs. Basically, what you want to do is go to each cruise marsh, eat all the frogs until there's 1 male and 1 female left, and then leave those behind. Go to another marsh, repeat. By the time you get back to every marsh, the male and female you left behind will have bred more frogs. And what you want to do is you want to catch up to like 100 of them.
Yeah, I think it's 100 frogs total before you can unlock Quina's ultimate weapon, and you also get the quail boss fight.
Yeah,
yep.
The quail boss fight, and then Quina's ultimate weapon, or what you get. So, you know, if you're completionist, that's something to do. It's certainly less time-consuming than dodging lightning in the Thunder Plains. God damn, but
never forget.
But you know, it's a bit of a waste of time because Kina, if you're using his or her weapon, what are you doing?
Well, an optional boss fight's cool enough, I think.
Yeah, and the quail boss is, you know, one of the challenging bosses in the game. So, you know, if you want a powerful new enemy to fight, that's something to do. And it's certainly easier to do it gradually as you pass through the marshes than it is to do it all at once at the end of the game.
Well, it's certainly less annoying to do it that. What the hell did we just do to that? Is it did we just turn that monster into a fork?
No.
It used Vanish.
It vanished itself, which basically means it can't be hit by physical attacks, but if you hit it with a spell, it will reappear.
Oh, okay, so...
It's like 6 is vanished.
Okay, well, I know that, but, like...
Yeah.
What?
Vanish is also a spell that Kina can learn.
Oh, is it a blue magic thing, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, one of the potentially useful ones, depending on the situation, because if you're fighting an enemy that fights entirely by physical means, casting Vanish on yourself temporarily makes you completely invincible.
What boss was it in Final Fantasy VI that was pathetically easy if you used Vanish?
Well, there's a few of them.
Well, no, it was
okay.
I'm trying to remember on that big thing right before the world gets blown up. There was something where you used Vanish and it was really good. I can't remember what it was. Never mind, I'm babbling.
Well, depending on the setup, I mean, I don't know if they're... Off the top of my head, I can't recall a boss that all you gotta do is cast Vanish and they can't touch you, but there are a lot of bosses where if you were to Berserk them and let them do nothing but physical attacks, then you can use Vanish. And, wait, you're talking about the Gigantos.
Yeah, that guy.
The floating continent. Yeah, you need Phantom for that fight.
Hooray, we learned Goblin Punch.
Is it useful?
Nope.
Okay then.
Goblin Punch is the epitome of the standard blue magic spell in Final Fantasy games, where it's just a spell that you have because you need a spell at the top of your list.
It's filler.
I'm pretty sure in Final Fantasy VI, Strago just starts out with Goblin Punch, but
Revenge Blast. Or Revenge, yeah, something like that.
But Vanish and other debuff spells, temporary buff spells in this game are something that you gotta be... Well, you gotta... If you want to get any use out of them, you have to use them wisely. Because not only in Final Fantasy IX is the ATB speed for both you and your enemies kind of slow compared to other Final Fantasy games, but the amount of time you have with each enhancement spell in comparison to the amount of time it takes for your ATB bar to level up is strictest here. You don't really have a whole lot of time with your buffs in this game.
Yeah.
Like, in Final Fantasy VII, your protect and barrier spells could go down pretty fast, but usually only because you turned the battle speed up to max. And,
really, for the Final Fantasies that I played growing up, it wasn't really until 10 where I learned the art of the buff.
Yeah. Well, in Final Fantasy X, they made buffs incredibly useful.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's probably why that I, took notice of it.
Yeah, it's like, haste is great with the ATB system, but with Final Fantasy X's battle system, it's 3 times as good.